Hey everyone, how are you? I'm Tommy. Today, we are going to be talking about how upsetting it is to be accused of something that we haven't done. Has it happened to you before? Have you been wrongly accused of doing or saying something that you haven't done? Most of the times, the consequences of being wrongly accused can lead to a devastating results, including being arrested and put in prison for someone else's wrongdoing. We are going to talk about this a bit later. Let me introduce to you a boy called Matthew. Matthew loves football, computer games, and internet. Matthew loves to play football with his friends. His house has a big back garden where they play almost every day after school. Every time Matthew invites his friends to play football in the back garden, they cross the house through the living room. In there is a Chinese vase displayed in the corner, which always catch their attention for its beauty and original design. It's impossible to pass by this Chinese vase without stop and admire its colors and shape. It must be very expensive, they say to themselves. How much it may cost? A fortune for sure. Some of the boys can't hide their admiration and surprised faces before such a beautiful and historical piece. But one day, something terrible happened to that very expensive piece of decoration. A boy called George was leaving the house to go back to his house when he saw the Chinese vase smashed all over the floor in several pieces. He was so shocked that he decided to pick it up before someone get hurt or step on the sharp edges of the vase. He shouted few times, "It wasn't me! It wasn't me! I promise!" But Matthew didn't believe in him and start accusing him of breaking the Chinese vase. Then quickly, Matthew went to tell his mom what happened. He said, "Mom, I know who did it. It was George. I saw him picking up the pieces. I think he was playing inside the house and kicked the ball and hit the vase." Matthew's mom called all the boys and asked them,
"Look at this mess! Who did this?"
In fact, Matthew was enjoying seeing his mom telling the boys off. Then, Matthew's mom picked up the phone and called George's parents. She sounded very angry over the phone. Matthew was standing by her. After the phone call, George tried to explain to his mom what happened. Many times he said to her, "It wasn't me. When I arrived at the living room, the broken vase was already on the floor, in pieces. I promise you, Mom, it wasn't me." He almost cried.
Mom, I swear, it wasn't my fault. I just wanted to help, but it all went wrong.
George's mom knew he was telling the truth. She said to him, "I believe in you, George." But something worse than a broken vase happened that night at Matthew's house. A thief broke into the house and stole few goods, including his dad's laptop. Next day, Matthew's parents noticed what happened and called the police. The policeman came to the door and started asking questions. He asked if the family had a CCTV. It means recording cameras in operation that could help to identify the thief. They said yes to the policeman and invited him to come in and check the recordings. As they started checking the last 12 hours of CCTV recordings, they saw something unexpected. Can you guess what was that? They saw Thor, the German shepherd dog, playing in the living room and hit the Chinese vase table. The vase fell on the floor. The dog tried to put it back in place, but it didn't work. Thor knew he was in trouble. Then Thor left the room quickly before someone catch him at the scene. Few seconds later, poor George entered the room and saw the broken Chinese vase on the floor. He only tried to help, picking up the broken pieces to avoid someone to step on its sharp edges. And we all know what happened after that. Matthew, without asking George what happened, started accusing him of breaking the Chinese vase. Back to the robbery. Unfortunately, the police couldn't identify the thief as he was covering his face with a ninja mask. But don't worry, all the goods stolen, including the laptop, were covered by the home insurance. Still something else pending to be resolved. Remember what Matthew and his parents saw on the CCTV? You're right, they also found out that who broke the Chinese vase was Thor the dog and not George. Matthew and his parents did the right thing. They went to George's house to apologize for accusing him to break the Chinese vase. At first, George didn't want to talk to them, but Matthew's mom started apologizing for what happened. Then George understood why they were there. Children, today's story teaches us not to judge each other. Also, we learned today to find out first, to ask, to talk before any conclusions or final thoughts. Sometimes, what we see is not what happens. Did you know, children, that in the Bible, there are also stories of people that were being accused of something that they haven't done? Let's start with David and Saul. In 1 Samuel chapter 18, we see how Saul's jealousy led him to falsely accuse David of trying to overthrow him. Despite David's loyalty and service to Saul, he was falsely accused. In the book of Daniel, we find another example of false accusations when Daniel's friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, were accused of disobedience for refusing to bow down to King Nebuchadnezzar's golden statue. Joseph of Egypt is another sad story of someone who was falsely accused. Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph of attempting to seduce her, leading to Joseph being thrown into prison unjustly. This accusation not only tested Joseph's faith, but also showcased his trust in God. But when Potiphar found out that Joseph was falsely accused, he immediately removed Joseph from the prison and asked for forgiveness. Deep in his heart, he knew Joseph was innocent. My last words for you today is, before we blame someone, let's stop and think. Before we get into conclusions, let's ask questions. When we accuse someone without knowing the truth, we can hurt their feelings and make things very unfair. Words can be powerful, and once we say them, we can't take them back. Let's read this together. The truth protects the innocent, and wisdom protects us all. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's stories as much I did. Don't forget to subscribe, leave your like, and share these videos with all of your friends. I'm Tommy. Bye-bye, and see you soon.